Hi everyone, in today's lesson we're going to talk about how to use the quotient rule to take the derivative of two functions. So if f of x and g of x are two differentiable functions, then the derivative of f of x over g of x can be defined as this, which is the second function, g of x, times the derivative of the first, or top and bottom, minus f of x over g prime of x. And I forgot to add all over g of x squared. Okay? So in other words, the derivative of a quotient can be found by taking the second function times the derivative of the first minus the first function times the derivative of the second all over the second function squared. Okay? So the simplest explanation that we can have for f of x over g of x prime, or the derivative function, is if we label this one as my low function and this one as my high function. And now let's just make sure that we have the right formula. So it's all over g of x squared. Okay? So the formula is low d high minus high d low all over low squared. Okay? That is the simplified version, or the simplest way that I can explain what the derivative function is. So let's do an example. Okay? So the first function we'll label our high function, and the bottom function we'll label my low function. So the derivative, so f prime, is low, so let's rewrite the low, d high, so the derivative of the high function, so the high function is 10x squared, and the derivative is simply 20x, so low d high minus high d low, so the derivative of this low function is nothing other than 12x to the third, all over the low function squared. And that's it. That is the quotient rule. Now, you don't have to simplify it any further. You can just leave it like this and that would be acceptable. Alright, let's look at the back and see what other types of examples we have. Alright, I think number 2 you guys can definitely do on your own. So I'm going to write homework for number 2, and maybe I'll help you start the rest, and then they'll be your homework. So let's look at number 3. I want to actually do number 3 in 2 ways. So I want you to use the quotient rule. And if you use the quotient rule, obviously the low function will be here, and the high function will be here. Just be careful when you're doing this. When you're taking the derivative of the low function, there is a chain rule because of that power. And then I actually want you to do the product rule with this one as well. So I kind of want 2 answers here. And we'll show you in class how they're exactly the same after we'll simplify them. Now, how can you use the product rule? Well, do you agree that this negative exponent here can be brought to the numerator? So with that being said, our f of x function can be rewritten as 3x minus 4 times x to the 4th plus 1 to the positive 5th power, with this being my high function and this being my low function. Alright, so I'd like you to try those, and we'll go over those in class tomorrow. And number 4, I actually want you to do whichever way that you want. Remember writing that a fraction, it has to be written, whoops, hold on 1 second. I'm just going to cross that out. That this is the same thing, so 2x, negative 2x minus 5 over 3x to the 5th plus 4 is the same thing. If I have it under a fourth root, it's the same thing as raising it to the 1/4 power. Okay? So that also being said, that's the same thing as saying negative 2x minus 5 to the 1/4 over 3x to the 5th plus 4 to the 1/4. Now you can do the quotient rule if you want, with the top function being the high function and the bottom function being the low function. Or you could do what I said before with this product rule and bring this piece up here. So pick either way. So for number 4, you could either do the quotient or product rule. And we will pick this up tomorrow. So I want to just see effort on 2, 3, and 4. And if you don't know how to do them, that's okay. I just want to see that you've tried. And we'll go over everything tomorrow in class. Okay, have a good night.